Again, thank you for everyone for joining us today. As I had mentioned, my name is Dan Reed with SCORE, and we love putting on workshops for small
Recording
business
in
owners just like
progress.
this one. And we're very fortunate to have folks like Mary who volunteer their time to tell us a little bit about something that they're good at and that can help in your small business journey. And she's going to talk to us a little bit today about reels and stories for Instagram and social media, where I would say that she's a specialist. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it over her to introduce herself and kick us off. Oh, I'm sorry. One more thing right before we get started. I do want to say thank you to the Maine Technology Institute who does sponsor SCORE's workshops. If you are a business in one of their investment sectors, I would really recommend looking into how they might be able to help, and that's at mainetechnology.org. And again, apologies for that. Thank you, Mary, and I'll pass it over to you.
Go ahead. Thanks, Dan. So, just to recap, my name's Mary Haley. I own MXH Marketing. We're based in Central Maine. We're pretty much a full suite marketing service. The only thing we don't do is SEO, and we do a lot of social media marketing and content creation for clients, and Instagram and Reels being one of them. So I have a presentation just to go with you through pretty quickly. It's just going to be a short bit, and then we're going to focus most of our time on actually doing in the app and showing you how to make a reel, how to find the tools to make a reel, and all that good stuff. So let me just share my screen real quickly, and then we'll start. Okay. So getting into what are reels? So Reels are a really good tool for discovery content. They excel at finding new audiences for you. It has a high potential to reach non-viewers. They're really designed to reach new audiences, and they generally live at the top of your sales funnel. Um, and as we're kind of going through this presentation, I'm not going to read every single thing on these slides, but I will share this with Dan and he can forward it to you after the presentation. But yeah, so just a quick, summary of sales funnel. You have, the top of the funnel, which is really just gathering eyeballs. And then from that top of the funnel, you slowly try to nurture them through it to the bottom of your sales funnel, which would be conversion, which is purchasing, booking, buying, whatever. And so continuing on what are reels? So reels is a short form video. Probably what a lot of what you're going to make is more like, micro short form. We're talking 10 to 15, 20 seconds maybe. But short form videos are anything under, I think it's 3 minutes maybe is the technical cutoff. Um, and Reels on Instagram were basically launched as a competitive product to TikTok. And they are a prioritized type of content on Instagram, which means that Instagram puts a higher value on them. They push them more. I mean, even if you're scrolling through your own feed, you're probably seeing more reels than you are static posts. And because they are prioritized, like I said, they are a highly effective way to earn reach. They're highly engaged, and you can tend to organically grow a lot of followers through Reels. And just to kind of hit that point home a little bit more, they have 200 billion daily plays. They reach 1.3 times more than carousels. They have a 22% more engagement than standard video posts and standard posts in general. They dominate visibility engagement. If we see over in this little thing, engagement rate by post type, images, single image posts get about 0.7% engagement. Carousels getting almost 1%, and then Reels is a 1.23% on average. Um, and in general, an average engagement rate that's decent is 1 to 3%. And this is how you can calculate that if you're curious about what your own engagement rate is. Um, and so when we're making a reel and a post in general, um, every post should have a purpose. If you're a business, every post should have a should have a purpose. And so you want to ask yourself, what is this post meant to do for my audience? Is it supposed to inspire them, educate them, entertain and delight? That's a worthy purpose. Answer a frequently asked question. Is it going to be a soft sell, a direct sell? Do you want to drive traffic, move them from your reel to somewhere else? Are you trying to build trust and credibility? And when you post without a purpose, you are going to see things such as views with no action, engagement with no real follow-up action, um, and people, and you're going to get frustrated with your results from your posts. And one thing to think about, especially as a business, you're on Instagram and social media, obviously to help your sales and your marketing. And people don't take action unless you ask them to. And there's nothing wrong with asking them to. You are a business. They know you're a business. They're not going to be offended or turned off. If you ask them to do something, they're engaging with you for a reason. They want whatever you're selling, hopefully. Um, and kind of a real life example of this. I have a friend who's sort of a influencer, I guess, or an inspiring one. Anyways, she had a reel pop off at one point, and very quickly it went from hundreds of views to thousands to over 20,000 views. Um, and she tries to push people to subscribe to her blog, and she got, like I said, over 20,000 views on this reel. And it was a beautiful reel, beautifully made, beautiful scenery and imagery. But there's no new followers. She didn't really get any subscribers. Nothing happened. And that's because when you looked at it, the reel didn't say anything. It didn't have a clear message. There wasn't a reason to follow. There wasn't any call to action. It was vague and passive. And so people are going to say, oh, that's nice. And they'll probably hit a like button, but then they're going to continue on. And so when you're thinking about reel, it can seem daunting to try to come up with an idea. But there's a lot of different things you can do with reels. And trying a lot of different types is going to help you figure out what your audience resonates with the most. So, you can look past, look back into what you've posted before and see what has resonated and created high engagement or high clicks or lots of direct messages, and kind of build from that. Or you can just start testing lots of different types. And some common ones are, behind the scenes, a video of making something, like the process of making something. Those do really well.
I
You can
put on the 34 and it's too tight.
Oh, you can use Reels to respond to comments or answer frequently asked questions. You can use it to showcase your services or amenities. You can do it to educate, tips like easy tips or 3 things to know, or story-based content. I've pulled some examples from BrewMate. If you're not familiar with them, they make cups and mugs. I think they also make coolers and stuff. But either way, these are 3 very different types of posts that they're using, all to promote their product. This first one here is, 3 of their different mugs, and it says, the three drink club mug, checklist or something: hydration, caffeine, something fun. And what they're doing, if you're thinking to yourself, what's the goal of this post? Their goal is to relate to their target audience. So they're building trust, they're building credibility, and they're also providing a bit of humor and delight to their potential customer. This one over here, again, BrewMate. Like I said, all 3 of these are BrewMate, and what they're doing here is they're answering a question in a comment from a different reel, and someone asked, "What about a straw lid that folds down?" And now they've created a reel highlighting this specific product in answer to a user-generated question. And then down here, they're just providing a recipe. This is your goal here. It could be, you could say, is education or delight, or providing free value to their potential customers by providing a fun recipe that people can make in their BrewMate cup. And so how we want to make a reel. So reel length is probably anything you Google or anything you hear, it's going to be shorter is better. People have shortest attention spans. People love to harp on 7 seconds max. I think people used to use 7 is considered kind of a golden number in a lot of different ways, um, but my experience and my opinion and what I've seen is it's not that people have shorter attention spans, it's that they're more selective with their attention spans. People regularly will watch multiple minute long reels, long form tutorials, long behind the scene processes, wildlife clips, craft making videos, all that are multiple minutes long. I mean, I've gotten sucked into teapot making for 5 minutes before. So if it's interesting and it's engaging, people will watch. So it's not that people can't watch for long, it's that they're very selective about what they watch. And so if all you have is stuff for a 7 second reel, great, do that 7 second reel, make it worth it. Don't try to drag it out if it doesn't need to get dragged out. And don't shorten it up if you've got more interesting stuff to show. And so, which brings us to a second point, which is the hook. What you want to hook them with matters more than that length. And they're going to see that hook, whether that's text or a strong opening, visual opening. And you want to show that to them within the first 1 to 3 seconds, because then that's going to hook them in and make them want to watch longer. And then some basics of what makes the good reel overall is a clear hook, a simple idea and story that people can follow, clean visuals, thoughtful transitions so that, when you're moving from one shot to another, it's not super jarring. Music that fits the mood and fits the transitions between the different video clips, and text that supports the message. It doesn't have to be super fancy, but you want to be intentional about it. And then 4, our last point is trends. You want to use these carefully. They're super fun. They can be really effective. They're super helpful for reach, but they are not a sustainable strategy unless you've got all the time in the world on your hands to chase trends. Excuse me. It's not a super sustainable strategy. So I always recommend do a trend when you can, but don't make it your strategy. They move fast. Like I said, they require real-time effort. And also be aware, not every trend fits every brand. So pick the trend that relates to you, that resonates with your audience. Don't do it just because you saw someone who got 1 million views on theirs. Because there's a risk to going viral. Everyone wants to go viral, but it's really not that great. Because if you go viral for the wrong reasons, that doesn't reflect your brand, doesn't align with your goal, it's going to attract the wrong audience. And so you'll get a spike in views, you'll get temporary engagement, which is then followed by a drop off in all of that when you go back down to regular views, regular stats. And that's actually going to signal to Instagram that your account has all of a sudden dropped off in engagement, and it actually dings you in their credibility ranking algorithm. And so going viral is only good if you've done it in a way that reflects your brand, your purpose, and who you are, and attracts the right people, of course. So some of the Instagram Reel features, Reel trials. This is I don't want to say it's recent. It's been around for a couple months, at least several months now. But it's about testing content with non-followers. So basically you make a reel. There's a little toggle option to turn it into trials. We'll probably see that when we're making a reel. And that's going to send it to non-followers first. So you can kind of test out how your reel is going to resonate with people. So let's say you send it into a trial and you see all these non-followers who have engaged with it, have shared with it, are really excited with it, they're leaving comments, and it's a good reel, so then you can go ahead and then push that out onto your feed. It's also a way to ensure that reel only reaches new audiences and not just your followers, your current followers. Remixing and collaboration tools. Remixing is TikTok's version of stitching. So you see another video. If it has a remix option, you can take a piece of that video and then add on yours to it. Collaboration tools. This is really handy. If you can add another account, whether that's your local DMO or a business or another business that you partner with, or someone else, it basically, the collaboration tool puts this reel on both accounts, and so you're kind of doubling your exposure with each account's audience. Paid promotion options. This is boosting your post. Boosting is a pretty low cost tool to make sure that your reel gets pushed out even further. One quick note about this: if you are an Apple phone user, don't do this on your mobile app because it adds a surcharge. I don't know why they did this, but so you want to go, when you make a reel and you want to boost it, go into your Meta Suite on your desktop and boost it that way. And there's lots of editing tools that we're going to get in, that I'm going to show you: captions, overlays, accessibility tools. You can now add alt text to these things and captions and stuff to ensure that you're meeting accessibility guidelines if that's important to your brand. And these features are tools that are all going to make your reel, be better, perform better, and hopefully get more engaged with. And then one last thing on this is, on Instagram, there are tons of tutorials on Instagram, tons of reels that are tutorials about making reels. And so just go on Instagram and search reel tutorials, and you'll find a ton of content, really short videos that tell you how to edit, how to make certain scenes and transitions. And sometimes they'll give you exact recipes and step-by-steps on how to do that. Okay. All right, so we are going to get into the reel making part of this. I'm gonna try to finish the reel making by 12:45 or so that we can leave time for questions. And so just give me a few minutes, because what I'm going to do is actually switch over to my phone, and I'm going to screen share on my phone, and we are going to work there. So. All right. Mute. Okay. Dan, can you let me know if you can still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Awesome. Okay. So we're starting our screen share. Okay. Awesome. We've got my phone up. Now we're going to go into Instagram. Okay. So we're at Instagram. We're on my company's Instagram page. And Dan, can you just confirm just for a second that you can hear
10 months and 2 weeks.
Yeah, the volume just came on.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
All righty. So we are in our little on our Instagram home screen. And so there's a couple ways you can start with making a reel. You can go up to this little plus button here, and it's going to, and then down here, it's going to ask you what type of thing you want to make, whether that's a post or a story or a reel. Here we go, reel, which is then going to bring you into your video selection. But we're going to hop out of this for just a second. So going up here is one way you can start making a reel. All reels are probably going to have music in the background unless you're doing a reel of you talking or explaining something. And we're going to focus on that. And so one big thing about making a reel is picking sound that I just noticed the video about the marketing team deserving the raise. I obviously watch a lot of marketing videos on my account. Anyways, so because you're probably going to use a song and a sound for your reel, how I usually start by making a reel is to find that sound or that song that you like. And how I usually do that is you're actually going to come down to your little your Reels Explore button there. And then you just swipe through different videos until you find a song that you like. And so let's say we like this song for some reason. I don't even know what it is because I don't have it playing right now. How you're going to be able to use this sound is by going down to this little corner here. You can see this square box right next to my to the right of my pointer. And that's going to pull up the audio. So this is the audio page. And here on this page, you can see all the reels that have used it. You can see how many reels have used it. And right up here, you can see that it's marked as a trending sound. And so when possible, you want to use a trending sound, because what that means is Instagram has identified it as a sound or song that is becoming popular. And when it becomes popular, it's going to push your reel out more. So you want to use stuff that is trending. Of course, if you found a sound that is not trending but fits what you're doing, use that. And then what you can do here is, excuse me. Oh, I'm sorry. So what you can do here is this little button right here that I just hovered over. That is a save button. So if you want to use it later, you just hit save. And I'm actually going to show you how to find that because I've already saved a sound for our exercise today. And then if you're ready to use it right then and there, you just hit audio. Now, as a business, because you have a business account, not all music, not all sounds are going to be available to you. And so if it's not licensed or allowed to be used on a business account, you won't see this use audio bar right here. That will be, there just won't be anything there. So let's hop out of this. And so, like I said, I already saved a sound that I want to use for our exercise. So I've already saved it. I'm just going to show you where to find that. We're going to go down to our profile icon here. Oh, let me get that out of the way. And then we're going to go up to our settings, our little toolbar up in the corner here. We're going to go down to saved. And it's going to show you all these things that you have saved. And then right here it says audio. We're going to go to audio. And these are all the different audios that you have saved over time. And your most recent one is going to be at the top. So we're going to click on this one. Is this the one I want to use? No. This is the one I wanted to use. I think anyways, let's play it. So if you want to preview the sound, there's a little play button right up here. Okay. That is the sound I wanted to use. And so with this sound, you can see that it's trending. It's got 4,500 reels. And on that note, that music that we looked at just prior to this said 76 reels and it was trending. That honestly doesn't feel like a trending sound to me. What's going on there with Instagram? I can't tell you. I'm wondering if, maybe they've detected something that they think it's going to be trending, or maybe they're trying to make it trending. I don't have an answer for that. But if you see that, it's got about 5,000 reels or so, even a couple thousand, you can know that it's probably going to be a reel or a sound that they're going to push. So we've scrolled through Instagram. We've found a song that we like to use and we want to use it. So we're going to hit use audio. And we're coming right back to the video selection that I showed you right at the beginning when I said you could start one from scratch. These are all sorts of different videos. I have mine saved in a specific album that I wanted to use, Reels Workshop. And so I'm just in this album. I have 5 videos here that I want to use. If you want to video something right then and there, this is your camera button. And so we're just going to pick these. And so you just tap on them and you can untap them. And now, excuse me, whichever order you tap on them is how they're going to automatically load up. So you can see 1, 2, 3, that's 4, and that's 5. You can see them down here. You can switch them around down here if you want to, just by pressing and holding and dragging them around. And then we're just going to come down here to next. I'm going to pause that just for a second. And so it's automatically loaded up all these videos. It's going to automatically start playing. It's already giving you a little toolbar down here to add text, stickers, add more clips if you want, effects, photo, overlay, all these good things. But how you really want to get into the editing screen, and one quick side note as I'm looking at it, we are editing this reel in app, which means we are in the Instagram app. Instagram does have an entire second app for editing that they call Edits. And so you can edit this in their Edits app. The tools are very, very similar. How they literally operate is very similar. So I'm going to stay in app with us because this is, I mean, I do most of my editing in app. I don't use Edits a lot. But either way, the functions and operations are very similar. So if you do end up liking, want to use Edits, your skills will transfer over. Okay. So getting back to that, we have a little mini toolbar here, but how we really want to get into editing is, you see this little arrow? We're going to slide up. And that opens up this, I don't know what you call these, video bars. And you can press and hold to slide them around. Instagram is automatically going to set a set length for a lot of these clips sometimes. And then if you want to zoom in closer so you have a little more control with your fingers, you're just going to pinch and what do I want to say? You know how you zoom in and out of a picture. So we're going to zoom in a bit. And so here we have your video here. This is your audio. And then down here is, you'll see we're going to start adding text. And when we're talking about transitions, you know, and when you want to cut different footage and blend them together and change the scenes, that is, you want to kind of time that with your music, whether it's a beat drop or a certain shift in pitch. You kind of want to time it with the music because psychologically that's going to feel more flowy with your viewer. And they're going to enjoy the video more. And as you can tell, I use a lot of technical terms when I'm describing these things. So you kind of want to find, like I said, beat drops, changes in tempo, changes in instruments or lyrics that are being used in the video, and kind of cut things to those. So we're just going to play this. We're going to play this through for a second so that I can hear the music and see if there's a point where we're going to cut some of the video, some of the clips to change at a specific time. All right. And so we do that just by hitting the little play button over here. Oh, So there were there you can tell from that music there are a couple of really key points that we want to edit these clips to change from, and I'm just going to play it again to find it. So I stopped it right there. We're gonna scroll back. And so when you're editing videos, don't do it around other people because this back and forth of replaying the same sound gets very annoying for other people. So either put on headphones or do it alone. And so if you really zoom in, you can kind of use the sound waves to help you figure it out. I think it's right about here. And so how you adjust the length of your clip is you're just going to tap on that video. And then you can see these little arrows at the end, and there's one at the other end as well. This is going to shorten or lengthen your clip. And you're just going to tap it, hold it, and move it. So we're going to move it right to that bar. And that's where we cut it. Now, another part of this is, so this clip right now is you can see 1.4 seconds long. I know that this clip is, I don't know, I think like 6 seconds long or something. And there's actually a part of this clip that I want it to show, but we're not seeing it right here. You can kind of see that the whole clip is just this guy standing at the edge. At some point, he jumps off to do a dive or parachute, whatever he's doing. And so instead of just like dragging this whole clip out and then shortening back up on the sections I want, there's actually a really cool tool that Instagram gives you. And so we're going to go down to this toolbar here, and we're going to slide it over. And it's our last tool. It's called Slip. It's this one over here. And Slip now opens up the whole video. And you can see we're going to, there we go. I'm zooming out. You can see that this whole video is quite long. And so what you're doing now is you have your 1.4 seconds highlighted. We're going to, we're at the beginning, you can see, of the whole clip. But so it's highlighting the clip that's going to be shown in your video, and you just drag this over until you get the scene that you want. And we want him just about to take, well, yeah, we're going to do it just about, he's going to take the dive. And then you just hit done over there. And now we go back to our thing and we can play it. And so you can see that the clip moves the clip changes to moves to the next one with that beat drop. And then we've got this clip here. Let's move to the next one. We're going to play this again so we can find the beat drop again. Wait, shoots. We're going to do it in that. Let's see if we want to slip this one. Now I'm just going to cruise through these clips a little bit faster just so we can get something cut together, and then we can move on to different features. Shorten that one. I think I was a little off on my rhythm, but we're not going to worry about it right now. All righty. So, all right. So we have our clips. Where we're at here is we have our clips cut to the rhythm of the music. We're happy with the video selections of them. And now one more editing thing actually we're going to do about our video is I'm going to show you. Let's say you have a really long clip that's like 10 seconds and you want the first 1 second and the last 1 second, but you want to get rid of all the middle 8 seconds of it. So you're going to tap on the video that you want to edit, And this is where you can basically slice your video in half, edit the length, and then decide which parts of the video you want in there. So we've highlighted the video we want to cut up. We're going to go over to split, not to be confused with slip. So we're going to split the video there. And now you can see we have two separate videos, or two separate clips of the same clip. We're going to grab this first one. We're going to go back over to our slip, and we're actually going to arrange this so that we've got this beginning section, because I think it's kind of cool. Okay. All right, so now let's play this and see how it looks. It's a little fast, but we're not going to worry about it right now. But that's how you can, if you have a long clip and you kind of want the beginning and the end, and how you can much more quickly just take out that last, that middle part of a long clip. Okay. So, let's talk about transitions. So, sometimes moving between clips can be a little bit jarring. It's totally fine to do it like this. This is, I do this a lot. But if you find that the transition feels jarring, like it doesn't make a lot of sense and you want it to be a little bit smoother, these little dashes in between your clips, that's where you add transitions. And so you just tap it. And it's going to open up this screen, and you can scroll through different types of transitions. And these are basically effects that help move from one video to the other. You can apply it to just one, or you can apply it to all. We're just going to do just the one. So we're going to hit done. And now we can see, let's play it. And that was pretty fast. I wonder if we can. Oh. Okay. I was just wondering if there was a way to make the transition go slower. But there you are. And so that's how you add those transitions. And so let's just pick a different one. Let's do blur. See how that one looks. That's a nice one. Okay, so we've had a few transitions. We like that. Everything's cut very well. We're feeling good. And now we want to add some text. So we're going to come down here. We're going to start it right at the beginning. So if you want your text to come in a little bit later, if you just move this long line right here is where you are at in the video. So if you just move through your whole video clip, and where you have it set and you add text, that's where the text is going to start. So like let's just start it a little, maybe quarter of a second in. And we're just going to come right down to text down here. Hit add, and it's going to pull up this text editing. Oh, I'm waiting for I can see that it's lagging a little. Okay. All right, so it's opened up this text editing thing. It says, let's just type in hello from, I'm just gonna do, there we go, score, since we're in a score class. All right, so we've typed in our text. This is what we want. Now we've got some options up here, and this is where some really fun things can come into play. So hitting this first one, this first little tool of the A's, that's going to change your font, whatever you feel like doing. I'm a big poster fan. And then your next button is going to be your color. They have preset colors that you can choose from, and then you can edit your hues, all this good stuff. But another neat little tool is this little eyedropper right here. Excuse me. If you tap it, you can now pick a color from anywhere on the screen. So let's do this green. So you've picked your color. Now your next button over is some animation. So as it comes in, you can add these animations to it. Let's do hop. That looks fun. So we've tapped hop. Now our next one is, oh yeah. So this is another type of animation these are preloaded. They're going to, when you click them, they're going to look exactly as they show you right here. So like, for example, let's add stop motion. Oh no, I was a little bit wrong. Oh, it's adding the hop and the stop motion. Okay, we're just going to double up on this. And then our next one over is how the colors and that outline, the different iterations you can have of that. So right now we have green on the inside, white on the outline. If we just tap this a couple times, you'll see it rotate through the different variations you have. So now it's just white. Now it's got a background on it. Now it's got a different color background on it. Now it's a different color. So you just kind of tap through until you see something you like. This works for us, so we're going to do it. And then this last little button is your align, whether that's left align, right align, center. All right, so you've got your text all set up. Now let's say you want to make this bigger or smaller. One way you can do that in terms of size is you just use this slide bar over here. That's going to either make it larger or bigger. Another way you can do that is just by, pinching and increasing or decreasing like you would on a photo if you're zooming in or zooming out. And so, let me get out of here. Wait. So we just tapped out to get out of that editing screen. And so you can do that with your fingers. It's a 2-finger move. So you just grab your 2 fingers, increase, excrease. And then you can see as you move around, Instagram's going to show you like, okay, if you put this over here, it's going to get that yellow bar. Oh, hold on. I'm waiting for the screen to catch up. Okay. That yellow bar is telling you that's going to be off screen. If you move it over here to the right side, it's going to show you a highlight of, the like, comment, share buttons, and it's going to show you that you're over them now, so you don't want your text there. And then it's also going to, when you move it into the center, you can see that blue line there. That's it's a snap line. It's telling you that you are in the middle of the screen. If you go down a little bit, I think there's probably going to be a middle snap, maybe right about there. Okay, so you've got your text all set. You're ready to go. You hit done. Voila. There you are. And so now as we scroll through, it's going to give you a default length of that text. And just like with your video, you're going to click those little arrows on the end and move to whatever length you want it to be. We want this to end right at the end of our other video. Yeah, and so let's just I'm going to show you how adding a second text is going to work as well. Oh my gosh, it's 12:44. Okay, I'm just going to show you how adding another text looks, just because it can get a little confusing when you're first starting out. But so we've moved where we want the second text to start. This is a workshop, blah, blah, blah. We're going to leave it just as it is. Let's move it down. Done. And so now you can see it right here, edit it again. Every once in a while, this might it might add it below it, especially if you're layering things. I think you can do that by, oh yeah. So if you want to add it, have kind of text start layering up, you're going to press and hold so you can move these around as well. But then this is how you can kind of have overlaid text and stuff, like multiple texts that come in at different times like this. Okay, we're going to get out of this. And then all these other buttons, these are just additional tools, stickers, ads on, these different things, sound on. We want someone to make sure they're listening. Tap out of that. Audio is where you can change your audio. Pick something else. We don't want to do that. Effects can be, these are different like visual, visual overlays. And then captions, this is where you can add, if you're speaking, it says no speech detected. You're going to see it in just a second. Sorry, the screen's lagging a little bit. Sorry about that, guys. But anyways, you can play around with all these different tools. There's a ton there to really kind of make your reels pop. But what I've shown you is the core tools and the core basics. And that's you can do so much with just these few tools to make a really, really amazing reel. Okay, so our reel is done. We're going to go over up to our little arrow over here. And then the rest of this is pretty much exactly like posting a regular post. So I'm not going to cruise through a ton of this. You can see this is where your trial toggle is. But the rest of it is pretty much like a regular post. The only thing I do want to show you is this preview. This is the image that's going to show up on your feed grid. And you can change that just by hitting edit cover. So if you want it to be, something else, it's going to show you your whole reel and you just pick a different scene. And so you just then pick that, then hit done. And there we go. And then, like I said, the rest of it's very similar to a regular post. You can either share it or save draft. We're going to go save draft. And then it sort of just brings you back to the starting point for some reason. Why, I don't know. But actually, on that note, real quick, let's exit out of this. If you've just done a draft because you haven't finished it yet, I'm going to wait for my screen to catch up. Okay. If you've saved it as a draft and you want to go back and edit it, you're going to go over to this is your page, your profile page. You go to Reels right there. And you can see drafts right here. And then you can go in and hit that to edit it. Okay. All right. Only 3 minutes over. All right. I'm going to turn off my phone. Give me just a second, and then we can do questions. Okay. All right. I know that was a lot to take in.
First, I just want to say thank you very much, Mary. It's always so informative when you do this, and going into extra depth this time was just amazing. So I really appreciate it. If anyone has any questions that they would like to ask about the process, or any questions you might have to ask about your own social media strategy with someone who is an expert in the field, now is a great time. Feel free to either use the raise your hand function, you can unmute yourself, or if you're comfortable typing in the chat, I'll read the question out. I know one thing that I've had a lot of folks ask me, and I always kind of have questions about this as well, and maybe it depends on the kind of business, but if someone is trying to get into posting reels, how often do you think they should try posting, and how much time do you think they should try to spend on making that first few videos?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, how often you should post is actually kind of a difficult question to answer, because it is a bit business dependent. I mean, you can kind of test it out. Like if you post every day for a week and you see huge engagement drop off, it means you're posting too much. But I would say, I mean, my general golden rule is at minimum 2 times a week. If at least one of those can be a reel, I think that's golden. Um, I would say because honestly, post as much as you have intentional, purpose-driven content. Don't post just to post. Posting purposeless, directionless, unengaging stuff is going to do you more harm than waiting a week until you have something really interesting to post. Um, and how much time you should spend on a reel? Again, it's a bit of a subjective thing. I would say once, I mean, when you first start doing this, if you're not, if you haven't really been making reels and this is kind of new to you, it's going to take a while. Your first reel, might take you 45 minutes to do. I've certainly spent 45 minutes on reels, even at my skill level of doing this. But those are also, I'm doing something pretty intricate. Um, but once you get going and you kind of get into a flow and you know what type of reels that your audience responds to, they can be pretty quick and you can, turn them out in about, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Sometimes they might even only take you 5 minutes. But starting out, if you've never made a reel before, don't be discouraged if you're like, I've spent 45 minutes on this already. And honestly, the more you do it, the faster you're going to get, the better you're going to get at it. You're going to know what you're going to get a sense of knowing how videos should transition with each other and what feels right. So it's a lot of practice. And I know that was very much like a kind of non-answer, but I hope it did answer.
I feel like that was a pretty good answer. We have quite a few questions that have come into the chat, and Amy also has their hand up. Amy, if you'd like to unmute and ask your question, please feel free.
Okay, so I work for a restaurant and they need me to help with reels and stuff, but it's my first time doing that, and I want to know if there was a specific way to film for food or something like that, or I can
If,
just record like every video, or there's like
are you asking if there's a specific way to film the
content
video?
for food, yeah, content for food, or
Okay. Yeah, actually, that's something I didn't really touch upon, but taking video, especially if you're doing so you're talking specifically about food video. I would suggest watching some food videos and seeing the types of shots that they feature. But you don't have to get super high tech with all sorts of different lightings. I mean, you want to make sure your lighting is decent, but you don't need to go invest in a huge like light up display or anything. Natural light. Um, for reels, you want to film in vertical, not horizontal. Um, and playing around with either with angles and also zooms, like up close shots versus far away shots. And then also movement, whether you're going to move around, like circle around the food. And so there's, I would suggest if you haven't done a lot of videoing before, looking at looking up some food reels and seeing the types of shots that they use. Just because certain industries do have a certain way of how they showcase their product, and that might give you some ideas on how to do it. Even I would also suggest a tripod. Tripods help a lot. You can get them super cheap, and they help stabilize your phone. If you want to set something up to record something without you having to hold it.
thank you.
We have we have quite a few questions here in the chat. Might rapid fire a few of them, if that's okay.
Yeah.
We have someone asking about how do you know if an audio is usable for a business, or how do you basically keep from that audio unavailable from happening?
So you can't. I mean, when you're making a reel from scratch, like you haven't tried to look for the audio ahead of time. If you're making a reel from scratch and you hit add audio, it's only going to give you audio that you can use. If you're flipping through reels like I was showing, and you hit the audio, it'll say use audio if you can use it. If not, that won't be there. So when you're flipping through reels, you won't be able to filter out only ones that have audio that you could use. But like I said, if you are starting a reel from scratch, if you're starting a reel from scratch and you add audio, it's only going to show you audio that you can use.
Perfect. Another question, how do you feel about using the same reel on Facebook and Instagram at the same time?
Yeah, I think cross-posting has its advantages and disadvantages. I tend to like to spread them out. I think as long as they're both gonna, you say like that could work on Facebook and that could work on Instagram and they both work well. Because sometimes you put something on Instagram, you're like, I know that's not gonna hit on Facebook. If you know it's not gonna hit on Facebook, just don't do it. But if you're like, this can work on both, cross-posting is great. I would just make sure that you tailor. There's a few things that you can do is like make sure your reel, your Facebook reel, doesn't say link in bio and doesn't have hashtags. And then also if you can space out the days that they post. So like let's say you post your Instagram one on Tuesday, maybe you publish the one on Facebook on Thursday, and spread it out. But overall, I don't think it's a hugely detrimental thing if you just instantly cross post. I would just say, make sure you're not putting links in Instagram captions, and you're not putting link in bio and Facebook captions. But it's not a huge detrimental thing to just cross post instantaneously.
Yeah. Do you recommend in a different kind of cross posting? Do you recommend posting reels to stories?
Yes, yes, it's gonna get sent to your followers. So the thing with stories is the function of stories is to talk directly to your followers. They're the only ones that are going to see your stories. So this is a way that you could like add some nurture content. So you post your reel there, and your followers are going to see it. They're probably going to see it in their reel, maybe in their feed, maybe not. I don't think there's anything wrong with sharing it to your story. But just know that sharing it to your story, that's you talking directly to your followers, because the only people who see your stories are your followers. And so stories are a really good nurture tool for your current audience.
And, one question we have here, it might be a little complex, but hopefully we can tackle it, is can you talk briefly about connecting with and working with affiliates and partners for messaging versus building your own accounts in collaborative posting?
I sort of want to read the question. Can you say it again?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure how to interpret this one, but what it says here is, can you talk briefly about connecting and working with affiliates and partners for messaging versus building your own accounts in collaborative posting?
Tell me if I'm interpreting this wrong, but I'm assuming this might be like partnering with people who say we can get you X amount of DMs per day or something like that.
Tom, you asked this question, you have your hand up. Feel free to unmute yourself.
Hey. Yeah, I figured I could just say something. No, so hey, am I live? Here we go.
You're live.
Hey, Tom out of Portland, OKI. So we actually do a lot of this stuff, and one of the things that we see a lot of businesses doing is, you don't know. So affiliates are when somebody else posts your content for you. For a lot of nonprofits, a lot of the time, this is just like affiliated organizations or people they work with that have, 500,000 or a million followers, versus the smaller organization will have like 10,000 followers. And a lot of the time it's if you're having an event or a rally or have a new product announcement and you have a partner, it's a better idea to get content from that person that is friendly with you, instead of trying to use your smaller audience. And Instagram has a feature called collaborations where you can both post at the same time, and those partners can boost your stuff for you. So I was just asking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Now I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, so I think when you're doing that, if you know, it's tough because if you're a small organization asking a big organization to share your stuff, they can be, depending on the organization, they might not want to collaborate just for their own brand guideline purposes. So I mean, if they're willing to be added on as a collaborator to your post, that is the most beneficial. Or to your, I say post, I mean reel. You can do this with reels too. But if they're willing to be a collaborator, that is the most beneficial. Because it's going to show up on both your feeds. People are going to see it. They're going to see both accounts connected to it. And so whoever from their audience interacts with that reel, it's going to show as an interaction on your account as well and with your reel as well. So it is the most beneficial. Um, the next beneficial would be to, send them the file if you've made the video off app, like let's say you've made it in Adobe Premiere or CapCut or Canva. You can send them the reel, and then they could say, video credit from our partners over at, and then they could tag you. Visit Maine does that a lot. They'll pull content from other accounts and say, credit to. But yes, the collaboration tool is incredibly effective, incredibly useful. And if you have large account partners who are willing to be collaborators, that's amazing. Does that answer your question?
Yep. Yeah. It's just an alternate strategy. Sometimes it's like if you can get somebody to post your stuff, it's easier than trying to
Yeah.
get,
And I mean,
to 100,000 followers or whatever.
yeah, and I mean, asking them just to accept being a collaborator is even easier because they don't even have to do anything except hit accept invite. So it makes their lives way easier. You're doing all the work, just asking them to, share a little bit of their audience with you.
Well, thank you very much, Mary. Unfortunately, we have quite a few more questions, but we are out of time. I will be sharing your email and follow up with the
Yeah,
group. So if you do have any other questions that you would like answered, please reach out to Mary, and I'm
yeah,
sure she'll be happy to speak with you.
yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to answer any questions you have via email if anyone wants to send them my way.
Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you had a great day, and be on the lookout for our follow-up email.
Sounds good. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.